Current president of Turkish Green Building Council. This is the organization I'm representing today, and I'm privileged to be a moderator to a very exciting panel on sustainability. But I just want to touch before, in general, how sustainability is going. I was supposed to wear a green nice dress today, but I'm with my airplane clothes because I came last night and I thought today is Wednesday and I thought my presentation is tomorrow. So I came here to hang out and I saw my friend and she said, I'm going to your panel. I'm like, what? And my panel is tomorrow. So I'm lucky to meet you. Thank you. So anyone who wants to see me in my green dress, meet me tomorrow. Since 1990s, we see a significantly more cross-border real estate activity in the world, and I believe the notion for sustainable development and green buildings contributed to these activities. The concept of sustainable development is now the norm, rather than the exception when it comes to the designing new buildings all around the world. And the MIPIM Awards, Best Innovative Area of Green Building category, is one of the most hotly contested. We also see many forums focusing on energy efficiency, smart buildings and smart cities this year. Last year and this year, our country Turkey is again the country of honor, and of course due to extraordinary business growth opportunities in Turkey, we are very proud of this. I wish it was reflected a little bit upstairs at our tent, but it's not as crowded as last year. Today, I want to talk about the development of Green Movement as the president of Turkish Green Building Council, an international NGO founded in Turkey, founded under World Green Building Council. Then I'll introduce you to the leaders of two mega development projects in Istanbul, and they are going to talk about themselves and their projects. Two projects, which is one is in the heart of Istanbul, in the Haliç district, and the other one is a substantial sub-center in the west of Istanbul. Would you please put my presentation on? Okay. So, how I'm going to? Oh, okay. Thank you. Would you? Oh, okay. Let's go back. As you can see, Turkish Green Building Council is a network of 100 councils all over the world. You start as an associated group, people in your country who are interested into sustainability in the built environment come together. And then you go through certain procedures and you become a prospective GBC, and then you become an emerging GBC, and then an established GBC. Turkish Green Building Council in 2012 became an established GBC, and it's the 32nd established GBCs in the world. Oops. We started with 25 founders, 25 companies, and today, the latest is 168 companies as of today. We have members from all over the industry. The fastest growing real estate NGO in Turkey in such a short period of time. We signed MOUs with BRI Global, DGMB, and US Green Building Council, three major certification systems, soon maybe with HQE from France. We are representing all international certification system organizations in Turkey. Our mission is to radically improve the sustainability of the built environment in Turkey by transforming the way it's planned, designed, constructed, maintained, and operated. As you can see, all these green building certification systems are being used all over the world by different groups. In Germany, you can see a lot of LEED usage versus in London, you can see a lot of HQE usage. So it doesn't matter where you are. It all is up to your design team, really, or your client to choose which certification system they want to use. When you look at Turkey, as of today, we have 70 buildings certified with LEED and BREEAM, And according to ESGBC, Turkey is in the top 10 countries for the application of LEED certifications. Today, 400 buildings in Turkey, that's an incredible number for the last 5 years, are in progress to be certified. They will be certified or not, but at least they show, they showed an initiative to take this route. So there's one DGNB pre-certification, and some of these BREEAM certifications are BREEAM in use for existing buildings. When we look at the history in Turkey, it started in 2007 when we established the council. Only CMES was building a green building, and it received a LEED Gold certification. Then we started our conferences. Our previous president, Mr. Haluk Sur, was here. He initiated these conferences. And we completed the third conference. 650 people all over the world attended with 50 international speakers. And the demand is really huge, both nationally and also in the region. And the last 3 years, we established a committee to come up with a national housing, a green building local certification system. It's not a certification yet, it's only a manual, but it's a start. And last year, Minister of Environment and Settlements signed a protocol with Turkish Green Building Council to support TGBC's manual as the standard for Turkish industry in order to build sustainable homes. As I told you, fast-growing market, certification is going on, but then there are communities. Especially now, it's hot and exciting times for the urban regeneration, and what do we do with communities? And buildings alone really doesn't mean anything to anyone, because it's one building at a time, but how long, So Turkey has to capture this great moment when all this urban transformation is happening, and we need to focus on ecological communities and start talking about LEED neighborhood BREEAM communities type of systems. And how do we choose which one to use? When we look at municipalities of European countries, in 2005 they came together and came up with something called where is the 2005 protocol, which talked about how to make a community a sustainable community. So they came up with some criteria. They included climate change and energy, placemaking, transport and movement, resources, community, buildings, ecology, and business. And then BREE Global took this checklist and came up with BREEAM communities, and they started organizing countries to come up with pilot projects. Sweden was number 1, and then they completed 7 pilot projects with BREEAM communities. The first case study in Turkey for BREEAM communities is the İSTANBUL project. It's a PPP project. Harvard University Medical School is one of the partners, and it's going very well. They completed the first phase, and all housing units will be BREEAM certified. Then we look at, in general, what are the percentages of these green buildings. We see the highest is offices. The office market is really going for green. They are the fastest to rent and fastest to sell. Then retail also is taking off, and the popular certification system is BREEAM for retail. Factories, education, hotels, homes, labs, and recently data centers are following. The Turkish National Green Homes Manual had many partners contributing. We have over 100 people contributing as volunteers, representing different organizations, 17 NGOs, more than 10 universities, major universities, professors, students. Everyone contributed to our national system. And this is İSTANBUL 2014. It's not a picture that I am so proud to show, but this is the reality. There is really not too much green. That's why I'm gonna, ask this question: how did we come from being one of the most naturally, environmentally friendly countries to building this terrible cities, I should say. Thank God we have all these nice buildings now, certified, and there's a huge potential for renewables in Turkey. But I think this crisis in Turkey will force us to reinvent ourselves, and sustainability will take a huge take from that. I don't want to talk too much because we have such valuable speakers here, but if you want to get more information about Turkish Green Building Council, these are the Facebook and Twitter addresses, and now I'm going to pass it to Mr. Alaaddin Babaoğlu, who's the founder of Müdürü Real Estate Investors.
Yeah, thank you very much, Duygu Hanım. My name is Alaaddin Babaoğlu. I'm since 2007 back again to my home country in Turkey and have established Amplio Real Estate Investments to realize real estate projects, but of course with certain values included. And in this activity we have chosen Golden Horn as the major focus area for our developments, and have realized one hotel, and behind the hotel, which is an embracing area, an urban renovation and refurbishment project. So I'm going to quickly, okay, Turkey where it is, I think we all know, but it is always nice still to see the positioning of Turkey, which is really a bridge between the two continents. This shows Istanbul at its extent, which is like 115 kilometers and 130 kilometers in the north. But the real Istanbul, sorry, I'm looking here for showing, okay. The real Istanbul is where the spot is, the Constantinopolis. I mean, it is 1,000 years the establishment, but during the thousands of years the city has expanded. And today it reaches such a gigantic area, metropolis, but the heart of Istanbul, where also Golden Horn is above the old city, the natural harbor, where we are focused. So this picture shows again the Golden Horn Inlet as a natural harbor, which is embracing both the Old Town and also Beyoğlu district, which is on the north. And our hotel is in the middle. Unfortunately, I cannot show it here with something. Just here in the middle. And the embracing area is the place which I'm going now to explain, the urban regeneration project, which we call Haliçe Nazır. So this hotel has been built according to LEED certification standards, and we got the LEED Gold certificate. And I am therefore also thankful to all specialists in Turkey available, like Duygu Hanım, because we start our projects from the scratch with the plan to make it sustainable. I mean, this is nothing to do it afterwards. So this hotel, as a typical Hilton Garden Inn, could be a shoebox. But we said we had to do something special. First of all, sustainability, but also architecturally, it should be harmonic with the environment. And we got also some, not only the LEED Gold, we got also architectural awards for this building. Most of the rooms have the Golden Horn view with garden, terrace, and all rooms can have fresh air if they want. They can open the windows and enter to outside. I try to skip now this picture. It doesn't work. Can you please? Okay. Thank you very much. So this is showing from the up. There you see the solar panels. Sometimes, of course, I mean, on the roof of the hotel, we could have also used it for other purposes. But we have chosen to use it with solar panels, and we are able with those panels in summer to renounce totally the fossil energies. With the solar panels, we are supplying whole warm water, for example. So I try to skip again this one. Yeah, sorry, going back. One moment. Okay, this is the embracing area of the hotel where this concept of a community, we say neighborhood, has been planned. And thanks to the now latest developments, it's also confirmed by the Ministry of Environment and Urbanism. And it shows an organic growth potential community with several aspects, like, for example, squares. There are 7 squares, only pedestrians, all car parking is underneath, and this project should be the main example for the growth in the Golden Horn. This should serve as a masterpiece to grow further. Next picture. Yeah. There are some impressions. What we, after an architectural competition, which was done internationally, this was chosen especially to host the neighborhood feeling, where you see, for example, bakeries, cafeteria, not only residentials. We are saying not only dormitories. It should be a living community. That was the brief to the architects, and we were successful with our architects, and this design is now planned to detail electrical, statical, everything is already planned. It's not only color picture. So I'm taking a little bit further. This is showing again, of course, the importance of the Golden Horn in the city, especially with regards to sustainability. We have put attention to the public transportation, and the public transportation is also including the sea potential. There we have some boats which are interconnecting from Golden Horn to the Asian side, for example. So these are some images, because the Golden Horn project, as I said, should lead to a larger extent refurbishment in Golden Horn, and there we have some now ideas with a worldwide famous city planning office from Frankfurt. We have worked together some 4 months of work. They have some rough ideas how Golden Horn would look like in the future. So it is a place, an oasis for Istanbul people who can use, even if they don't reside in Golden Horn, but they can come there, like Hyde Park in London or in Berlin, Tiergarten. So this shows again in the larger extent, because we didn't look, starting from the hotel where we start our adventure in Golden Horn, we were looking now to both sides of Golden Horn. Of course, we don't own the land, but we try to contribute with our vision how it could be developed. Also invite other investors and everybody to join us in the renovation and refurbishment of this Golden Horn area. To just show you our project, it is just this small piece, and the hotel is in front. But again, one cannot look only to own project, because this would be like a mushroom. I'm always saying mushroom in a big field. We try to see the bigger picture and support also other participants in the area. For example, 5 more hotel projects are now under construction. Several other urban regeneration investors are now interested coming into the area, and we are all embracing and supporting them, because only if we are together and making a bigger project, then it is more viable for all of us. So I think this was the last picture. This is again showing in a greater vision our site, the Beyoğlu district. This is like 1.8 million square meter area, just this site. It is as big as the Okmeydanı project. These are very rough works, but it shows with pedestrian bridges connecting both sides, and people can have, even they don't reside in Golden Horn, coming from outside, from Bomonti or other districts, they have a beautiful area to make recreation, growing and all this stuff. But again, saying all this to have the sustainability, now we are working also closely with specialists and consultants like Duygu supporting us. For example, we should get also neighborhood certification. Like if it is LEED or BREEAM, it is not decided, but we are looking closely together with our advisors to make it also again like in the hotel, also the neighborhood much more sustainable, including bicycle ways or the energy, for example, heat pumps, not to use fossil energies. We are going to use in this place the heat pump structure, so only some electricity is used, no gasoline or no liquid gas is used. So this is, I think, our last picture. Yeah, this is another maquette in our laboratorium, I'm saying, in Maslak area, in our office where we are sitting together and developing this project. So I have at the moment, I would like to thank you for listening to me, and on our adventure you will hear more as we are advancing. Thank you.
Very exciting project. Want you to live in Haliç. Not now, but in the future, definitely. So Mesut Arslan, he's the general manager of a joint venture, which he's going to explain in detail, and great project, Tema İSTANBUL. He's going to get into details now.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, dear guests, and Turkish members of Turkish media. I would like to introduce to you and the world a project in which we have tried to implement sustainability standards and codes. Tema İSTANBUL project is the most outstanding development undertaken in recent years in Istanbul, Turkey. And Istanbul, as Alaaddin mentioned, as the hub of the world, connecting the East with the West, long deserved such a mega project. Tema İSTANBul is a mixed-use project, and it comprises 5 different functions, such as housing, retail, hospitality, other commercial facilities, and one of the most important functions is the thematic recreational park. Actually, the challenge of this project was to transform an abundant dumpland area into an urban oasis where a city of Istanbul could access to nature. And ecological restoration of the site and reintroducing the natural values were among the main objectives. Actually, I was going to pass this. Alaaddin showed the Istanbul map, but I would just, in the red circle, where Tema Istanbul project is located, it's very near to Atatürk International Airport, which is about 8 kilometers away from it. And it has a lake and the Marmara Sea view, which is also is 4.7 kilometers close to where the Marmaray station, one Marmaray transportation tunnel will end. So transportation-wise, it's in a very great, very accessible location. Sorry. And this shows the land use plan of our project, where it's located by the sea and by the lake. And you will see the protection zone around it, around the area, which is very well protected naturally, and will be protected from now on more cautiously. Well, Tema İSTANBUL project has been derived from a long master planning process in which we had a competition over the master planning. Sorry. And Tema İSTANBUL is going to be built on 150 hectares of land, which is about 1.5 million square meters, in other words. And we invited 5 different master planners from around the world. And among them were Civic Arts, Edward Cullinan, HOK, Gensler, and Nikhil Seke. And after this competition, we established a jury panel, which was comprised of local and international authorities in urban planning and master planning. And we also had invited the district municipality mayor to show the private sector and public cooperation. And we awarded Gensler architects from Los Angeles to contribute the master planning process. And we spent almost a year on master planning, and I will show you all the functions of the mixed-use plans. To the north edge banks of the project is facing the Trans-European motorway, and it is going down south, and the length between the distance between the north and the south edges of the project, of the land, is about 2 kilometers. And the width is almost 1 kilometer and varies from 1.2 kilometers to about 700 meters. And we had a commitment that we would actually pay a lot of attention and consider all the sustainability factors involved in planning such a big development project. It is like an urban planning project. And this is the first actually master planned application, master planned project in Turkey, which went through the authorization of the urban environmental and urban planning ministry. Actually, the success of the planning derived from the concept of biological symbiotics, we call, in which all the elements, all the functions, all the elements of the mixed-use project, they come together and settle themselves in such a manner that they don't disturb each other. and they live together in well-defined quarters, and we call this elevated symbiosis. And if I go back, by that I mean we put the theme park, which is going to be designed on 400,000 square meters, about 40 hectares, is towards the north bank of the project land, and it's on the banks of the Trans-European waterway, where it's rather more noisy environment. And the residential project is located on the very top of the, actually the top hill and the top elevation of the whole land. And it is behind the theme park, where it's not going to have, it will be the more reserved and more quiet area, which is very essential for the inhabitants, for the residents. And we actually, I'm sorry, I don't have a laser pointer, I cannot show it here, but we actually cut the recreational and the more commercial part from the residential part by means of a boulevard which is about 30 meters wide, which goes, cuts the whole land into the north section and the south section, and we call that East-West Boulevard. Believe me, it's not easy to mingle around it. I wish we had better conditions here, physical conditions. Anyway, I would like to mention about our residential section, and I'm very happy to have our residential section's architect, Mr. Murat Kader, here, and I see our landscape designer, Deniz Bey, here. It's very nice to have you here. Residential section introduces an open and welcoming layout to highlight the outdoor activities rather than being stuck in a gated community. Because it's a huge parcel, the residential section is about over 300,000 square meters, and the distance actually from the north gate to the south gate of the entrances of the residential section is almost 1 kilometer. And out of this over 300,000 square meters of parcel of land, we put the buildings on a very top elevation, and the total area of the whole buildings, the footprints of the blocks, is about 47,000 square meters. That means about 85% of the whole land is allocated for outdoor activities, for natural greenery, and highly designed landscape units with aesthetics and with recreational facilities. And our architect had done his concept planning with the inspiration from the nature, actually, and from the most important, essential, basic elements from the nature, which is fire, soil, water, wood, and metal. And we divided the whole residential area into 5 different communities, small areas, let's say. And by designing the concept and the facade of the buildings of the apartment blocks, the architect also wanted to put emphasis on all those essential elements that I mentioned, as water, soil, wood, wood, metal, and fire, where you see in the water section the blocks are rising high, and it's like the water is like a waterfall, and water is falling down from the top of the building down to the bottom, and it meets the recreational water areas. And the same thing, there's different elements that he used on the facades of all those different blocks, which made it so unique, very dynamic, and very contemporary, actually. Here you see the water section. Here you see the stability and generativity, and but yet it looks dynamic. And we have different building blocks. They're all different, and they vary from like 5-story highs high to all the way up to 28, 30-story highs. And he also had added geometry of rising in different parts of the lot, where we have an iconic building we call apartment block, which is like a landmark of the whole project. But when the building goes up, is rising, it's also bringing scale to the whole silhouette of the development. And there's modular richness. It's flexible, it's light, pure, natural, and varied. Also has easy accessibility to all the buildings from the perimeters. Social facilities are very important. When we say sustainability, social activities are a very important part of habitat. And we have allowed over 3,000 square meters of a closed social clubhouse, let's say, in which we have indoor pools, all fitness and studios for various indoor activities, and also an outdoor swimming pool. We also have, besides the social clubhouse, we have 5 different community outdoor swimming pools where everyone can easily reach and spend their time and relax by the water. This is another view of the 3,000 square meter closed area clubhouse. And our project is very unique, and we said to add a little bit more cream and spice on the whole project. We said, let's have a competition for the design and the concept of the sales office, and we invited 5 different architects to the competition, and we selected this unique sales office design, and we spent almost up to $10 million just for this. And but it's located right on the banks of the Trans-European motorway, so it has great visibility. And people who see this, and at night it's lit up in different colors. It's like a nest. Some people call it like it's a UFO, unidentified flying object. It looks like that from a distance. And just by seeing that, people are so curious, and they come in and they come to the sales office and they buy homes, and so that they gave us a lot of advantage also. And to add to the sustainability of the city, we also, I will show you in a little bit now here. You see the sales office here. And this is my office here, actually. The banks, this is the motorway, it was all bare. And what we did is we wanted to put an ecological development and we wanted to put some aesthetics, and maybe we said we could set a sample to the local municipality, and we turned it out to this. Now, when you pass by, you see this, which is you use gravel, the white and the gray pebble stones that say gravel, and we have green grass and some other bush type plants, and it gives a character to and it enriches the looks of the city and looks more habitable. And that's the way it was also before. Yeah. Now it is like that again. And we try to use all sustainability components such as disposal systems. I will pass through these because there's a lot involved in this project, and we're working on it since 2011. And the wastewater and sewage systems are well designed and organized, and we will encourage smart cycles and foster the urban cycling in the region. Also, the parking system will be more sustainable. We'll introduce alternative energy vehicles in the community. And all the vegetation and landscape is well worked out. And the other richness in urban amenities are well selected and well designed. The smart outdoor lightings we're going to be using, and they will be powered by solar energy, but yet when the solar energy is not efficient enough, we will use the city electricity. And we try to boost the open space with quality touches, and for easy access in and out of the community, we will use public transportation means and orientation systems. And I thank you very much for your attendance and for your attention. Thank you.
Well, as long as they keep our biodiversity in place and have respect for our cultural heritage, and of course, if they are consulting the public who are going to live around these communities, they are all welcome to, and I hope the whole Turkey transforms into these wonderful communities where people live in healthy houses and students go to healthy schools, and it's starting really. The green movement in Turkey is rolling, and we're very excited about it. I think we don't have much time left, but I will definitely give you some time for questions. Yes, Mr. Serdar Yücel from IMS.
Okay, my question is to Mesut Bey. First of all, I agree with you that it's a wonderful project, and it's not hopefully wishful thinking for the rest of the country, but it happens sometime. The thing is, you got lots of money spent in your budget for landscaping, for sustainability, I'm sure for different amenities, social amenities. How is the financial viability of the project? So, are you selling too expensive, or did you get the land for free, or what's the magic behind it?
Good question.
Or are you a municipality yourself, or you are a charity institution? It must be beyond social responsibility.
I think it's on. Or you?
Huh? Well, I should go back then. See, this project, the land, we acquired it from Turkish Mass Housing Authority about 3 years ago. And then we started to work on the feasibility studies along with the master planning works. And we saw that we had to build the residential part first as the first phase to sell fast and to build fast. And there are 3,600 units, apartment units in our residential section. And in the last 7 months, that's when we started now, about 8 months, in July sometime, and we sold almost half of it. So we raised the funds from there, but our construction rate is very high. We're going to be building 850,000 square meters of closed, covered construction area in about 2 years. We're going to start delivering our homes next year in July. So we will have some capital raise there. Also, the joint venture companies, all the partners are very reputable companies with good, strong finance. And the other functions, they're not going to turn over in short period of time. So the theme park and the other amenities, other functions, retail and commercial functions, it will take time to build and for them to turn over. So I congratulate actually all the joint venture partners because they're taking, it's not a risk, but they are volunteering to put their money in this big mega project, which should be well known in the whole world. And we're not having any difficulty selling actually, and I think it's the best-selling project in Istanbul. It's breaking records day after day, and it's very stable also. You know, it doesn't, it has not been affected by any ups and downs in the economy or in any political or economical uprises and downs.
Thank you for precise answer. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Well, congratulations to Mesut Arslan and Counter Joint Venture. Any other questions? Well, anything you want to add?
I would like to say that I'm privileged to be here and to see all the Turkish participants here. I came here in 1996 first, and I brought a project here. We were the first and only project which had a stand here. And at that time, I saw Moscow, London having big booths, big stands with big models, cities of the models of their cities, and a lot of American investors and representatives of big funds. But now I'm very glad to see that there's a great contribution of most of the cities in Europe, and I'm very impressed with how real estate industry is going and is picking up, and I think we'll be here with more participants and with more projects in the next coming years. But Turkey, as a growing economy, has a lot to offer to the real estate industry in the whole wide world.
Thank you so much, and let's all do it in a very sustainable way, because it's default now. There's no going back, and we're doing it for future and for the future of our kids. Thanks for your participation, and I'll see you most in some other conferences in Turkey.